Good day and welcome to our unboxing, setup, and review of the HP Pavilion 27-inch all-in-one computer. We're going to also show you how to disassemble it, so if you're looking at this in the future, you can figure out how to upgrade it. And we're also going to run some benchmarks to compare it to some other computers with similar specs from Dell. This one is the 27CA1019C, and you might think, wow, mine's not that. Well, that's correct. These are basically just variations. Yours may be a little different, but probably not too much. Now in my case, this is 27-inch. It's not a touchscreen, which for me is a big deal. I love touchscreens and I don't like not having them, but let's see how this goes. Windows 11, don't care. Core i7. Now this in particular is a high-end i7, 16 gig of memory, and it also comes with a 5 megapixel pop-up camera. This isn't a regular camera. This is actually an infrared camera, so I can use it for Windows Hello. Just sit down at the machine, it recognizes my face, signs me in instantly, no delay, no lag. Really nice. And one of the things that HP has done that's better than what Dell has done is these little clips for the box. And you think, packaging, really? That's where we're going? Yeah, it's kind of nice. You just pop in here, squeeze and pull out. I need two hands. There we go. I don't need two hands. I thought I did. AC adapter, I'm in North America, so I've got universal charger, but I have the North American plug. If you're in different parts of the world, you'll have a different plug. Yep. Wireless keyboard and mouse. Now I'm not certain I'm going to keep this, so I'm not going to unseal these. I'm going to keep these sealed up. One piece, how nice is that? No assembly. Power it up, get your Wi-Fi going, plug your stuff in. Okay, so let's go around and show you the ports. There's a old school USB 3.1 port there. Nothing on the front but Bang & Olufsen speakers. There's an auto-sensing headphone microphone jack combo. I never have much luck with those if I don't want to use the speakers on the front. Let's go around to the back here. The screen tilts. This is the first disappointment in the machine, and it's not a crisis for most people, but it's disappointing for me. This is, as you can see here, a USB 3.2 port, but running super speed. SS just means super speed, by the way, and all that means is that it's going to run at a lowly 5 megabit per second. Thunderbolt, which looks like the same kind of port, in fact it is exactly the same connector, but different electronics behind it, runs at 40 megabit per second. And USB 3.2 generation 2 ports run at 20 megabit per second. So this is quite a disappointment. Anyway, let's move on. A couple of other USB ports. One's the faster one, a couple of slow ports for keyboard, mouse, that kind of thing. AC adapter port, gigabit network, HDMI out and HDMI in. Now you might ask, what would you use that for? Well, if you have an external screen, that's your HDMI out. And, well, what's the HDMI in for? Yeah, well, you know, in the future this could get old, so you could use this as an external screen for a different computer. Kind of neat. This is a locking mechanism in case you use it at trade shows or something. And then over here, we have the power button and the on-screen display, the OSD. There's nothing on the bottom at all. All right, so let's take you up and show you the camera. It just slides up. And it is nice to have it pop down, by the way. Once in a while you don't want it on for some reason, just pop it down. All right, to keep this video short, we're going to separate the full disassembly video into a second video, and I'll put the link in the top right-hand corner right now. So what you have to do is pull the speaker grill off right here, and then we have to pull the screen off, and then we get access to everything in behind. Now we have to pull off all of these screws. Now, this is where HP has separated itself very nicely from Apple. And you think, well, of course the Apple's better. Yeah, I'm going to go with no. So this little dongle here is the wireless receiver for the keyboard and mouse. And you think, well, why would anybody want an old school 2.5-inch hard drive? I want the new M.2 SSDs. Yeah, okay, but when you can get a 20 terabyte spinning drive, maybe you want that extra space. This is your hard drive. This is your solid state drive. Memory. Now I expected two 8 gig DIMMs, but instead they've only used one, which means I can easily pop a second one in and I can change the CPU. That's very, very unusual in an all-in-one. Usually they're soldered right on the board, but that's interesting. That means in the future, I could genuinely go get a different CPU Now I'm just going to push the power button, which is right here on the back. Power light. Windows hello. Yes, I do want to set it up, so I'm going to lift up the camera. The reason a PIN is better than a password is a password can be used anywhere. A PIN, however, is locked to this device. So if somebody gets your PIN, it doesn't do them any good unless they're sitting in front of it. They can't, if they remote to this computer, it won't be of any value. They have to be physically at it. So let's create a PIN. Now, in case you're wondering why they got rid of that screen that says, here are all the defaults, just click yes on once and be done. The reason Microsoft and everybody else has to do this is because of the European data regulation law called GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. Every question relating to security has to be asked clearly on a separate page and must have a clear answer or set of answers. These two are from HP in particular. The first one is saying, hey, can HP know who you are? It's sort of like a registration. Yeah, I'll let that go. The second one is, can HP use this information to, what I'm doing to improve their products? But they're going to look for crashes and things like that. Yep, I'll let them do that. The last one I'm going to say no to. That says, hey, can we send you some junk mail? No. I really hate the Windows 11 start menu. I don't like that it pops up and expands, so I'm just going to move it to the left-hand corner. Then I'm going to run updates. Before we run benchmarks or get into anything else, we really need to get the machine upgraded, have the firmware to the most current build, have the antivirus off, and have all the Windows updates done with nothing running in the background. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll skip through it really fast so you don't waste your time. But I do want to show you Device Manager so we can just take a look at what's there. That is what is valuable in this machine. 12th generation Intel chips are broken down into three different kinds of cores. We're going to keep it simple and go to two different kinds of cores. It's quite new, and they're called performance cores and efficiency cores. Performance cores are the cores you're used to. That's the CPU you're used to. Nothing really shocking there other than this is the newest, latest, fastest, so on and so forth. What's new are the efficiency cores, or E-cores. And an E-core is a very low power CPU that can run basically all of the standard stuff in the machine. If you're just doing basic surfing, if you're just doing like editing Word, things like that, it's fine. And you might think, well, how powerful are these E-cores? Why are they bothering to throw them in? Well, a couple of things. One, they use a lot less electricity and they produce a lot less heat, both of which are really good in these energy efficient days. And also, if you're in a laptop, it's very helpful to have that. This isn't a laptop, but you get the idea that it would give you longer battery life. So that's why they're doing it. And just how powerful are they actually? Well, Intel claims that they are 40% more powerful than a 5th generation Intel Core i5 CPU. So in other words, they're pretty freaking powerful. And you might think, well, what are they doing with those cores beyond this? If they're so powerful, why don't they just use efficiency cores everywhere? They are. If you buy a low-end Pentium or a Celeron chip in the future, it will probably be just a series of efficiency cores. Okay, enough of that technical stuff. And by the way, the numbering system T means that it's low powered. It's not as low powered as the U's. U stands for ultra low power. So the T's are a better product for desktops. The U's are a better product for laptops. They have a little bit less performance. The U's have a little bit less performance, but they'll give you even greater battery life because they're using less electricity. T's are better for desktops like these all-in-ones because they'll run at a higher speed. They'll run faster than chips that end with U. Okay, so let's get to power. How powerful is this in total? Well, there are 8 on this chip, which is the i7-12700T. That particular chip has 8 performance cores. Each performance core can run 2 threads at a time. If you don't know what a thread is, don't worry about it. It's basically just a process, just something running in the background. And so that means it can run 16 processes at the same time with the performance cores. And then it's got 4 efficiency cores. So 16 plus 4, 20. You can run 20 things at the very same time. That's impressive. The Dell that I just reviewed could only do 12, and that was running a 1255U processor. As I said, use less power. The letter U, get it? Huh? There we go. All right, so let's get this patched, rebooted, and get to benchmarking so we can see how this works, and then we'll give you our final review, build quality, things like that. So you run Windows Update a couple of times, and then you run whatever software comes with your machine to force updates, which in this case, I believe is the HP Support Assistant. I'm going to click on Updates. Oh, there it is. Let's see if it does have updates, even though it said there are none. Yeah, there we go. There are some updates. McAfee, garbage. No, you do not need a third-party antivirus. Windows Defender is excellent. All right, we're back. We've patched the firmware, we have patched the operating system, and we've uninstalled garbage. Now what we need to do is to turn off the antivirus and close anything that's running that's extraneous. And we'll turn real-time off, and it's going to choke and say that's a bad idea. Yes, I know. And I like to use a little tool called Novabench for benchmarking, but we're actually going to use a couple of them. Just before we start, let's take a look and make sure that the computer is quiet, that we're not seeing much CPU or memory activity. Yeah, it looks pretty quiet. I'll speed through this so you don't have to sit and get old. All right, this is pretty amazing. Compared to my old 2019 Dell all-in-one 24-inch, I see an overall score of 1800 and change. On a brand new Dell 27-inch, very similar to this device, which is a Dell Inspiron running the i7-1255U, which is more of a laptop CPU, much less performance, I see a number of about 2400. Here you can see pretty close to 3100. That's a big increase. Everything is scoring very well on here, except the GPU. The GPU is a little bit slow, but more than acceptable for standard 3D games, and certainly anything corporate. This is impressive. Okay, let's get on to another benchmark. Userbenchmark.com is a great site. Download it, run everything. As a desktop computer, this is as good as it gets. As a workstation, which is a high-end corporate thing that you might use for doing seismic data processing or running some artificial intelligence stuff, it's not great. But that's based on the video card, really, I'm sure. And for gaming, same kind of thing. Not great, but just fine. For running things that need a single task, it's great. It demolishes everyday tasks such as web browsing. It's so powerful, it can handle full-fledged server workloads. This is a great CPU. Graphics, not great, but more than enough to run any standard application. Only gamers will care about this. The boot drive, which is that solid state drive, is exceptional. It's crazy fast. What do I think of this machine overall? It's impressive, but there are 5 really notable issues with it that you should be aware of. First, doesn't have a touchscreen. You probably don't care about that. I really do. So we'll move on past that. Second, the USB ports are terrible in that they're old USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports, which means they'll only do 10 megabit per second. And they certainly won't do Thunderbolt speeds at 40 megabit per second, which is super disappointing, but that's the world we're living in, so I'll just get over it. Third thing is the discrete video card. The integrated video that's in here is actually really good, so don't make this a bigger deal than it is. It'll play all of the standard games that you want to play. It will drive the heck out of your Office apps, but it's not what I would like. I would like the next step up, which is a discrete video card that's built in. Anyway, not there, fine. Now let's get into 2 things that everybody's really going to care about. The first thing is the so-called Bang & Olufsen speakers are horrific. Okay, that's too strong. They're bad. So I get little crackles out of them once in a while. The volume is not great. But what I couldn't tolerate was the microphones. And you think, what do you mean the microphones? How could that be such a big deal? Well, you won't be shocked to learn that I work remote a lot, and people need to freaking understand what I'm saying. I'm not exaggerating to say they are the worst microphones I have ever used. I'll put a link in the top right-hand corner showing you what I had to replace it with. So I've bought an external microphone for $30, not a big deal, but I just hate having an extra piece of hardware sitting on my desktop. It's completely unnecessary. HP totally cheaped out on it. And for the money they're asking, it's completely unacceptable. This is far superior to the Dell Inspiron 27-inch all-in-one that I just decided to return. I'm going to keep this HP. Let's go over what I really like about this machine. HP Pavilion 27-inch all-in-one CA1019 series is primarily the CPU. It's great. Secondly, I really like the build quality. Dell has really dropped its build quality, and HP has brought its build quality up. That's saying something. If you watch my other videos, you'll see that, yeah, I don't like the HP build quality, and in fact, this is the very first HP I have ever bought and kept. It's not only acceptable, it's superior, better engineered, it's better assembled, and it's using better parts. If you found this video useful, please click like, it's really appreciated. Subscribe's also a big deal. And if you want to get a hold of us, just leave a comment below and somebody will get back to you, or you can always get a hold of us at www.urtech, that's www.urtech.ca. And hey, we hope this helped you, so have a great day. Bye-bye.